Welcome to the League of Biblical Mathematics, and I'm your host, Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, today, brothers and sisters, I would like to discuss gematria. Now, gematria is probably something that I should have done a long time ago. Something that I should have spoken up on and used. Used. The problem with gematria, well, it's not really gematria that's the problem. But trying to get Black people and all the other things that we subscribe to together to see the importance of why and how math and numbers were used throughout the Bible. So there's a lot of texts that we're looking at, and we are not speaking on gematria in those texts. That we may be looking at it in one form of way, right? But gematria, explaining the numbers, may be saying something slightly different or more of an eye opener. One of those things you look at and you say, oh, that's what that means. That's what they were talking about. So I should first start off, well, I should have started with this. I should have started with what is gematria? Gematria, and I'm going off the cuff with this, and you can research it and correct me, that's fine. Gematria is a form of numerology, right? I believe the term came from the Greeks and Romans, which meant geometry. Within gematria, every number is assigned to a letter. And there are various different ways of doing this. You could do it from A to Z, from 1 to 26, or you can do it in reverse, from Z to A. And the Z started as the 1, and the 1, Z started as the 1, and the A becomes the 26. Then we also have, when they're able to, let's see, what's the term for that? But there's a method in which they count the numbers from A to Z, but they only count it from 1 to 9. And they repeat from 1 to 9. Not sure what that was called. I think I had it and I lost the site that I was looking at it on. Yeah, here it is, Gematria Nader. That is called a reduction. You have a reduction and you have reverse reduction. So you can take the same numbers, you can take the same system from A to Z and go 1 through 9. And start the ninth letter, then repeat again 1 through 9, and repeat again the last time you do it, it'll be 1 through 8. And you can also do that in reverse. Right? That was an interesting channel. Which I don't remember what it was, but it escapes my mind at the moment right now. But they was talking about the guy was speaking on what he called, can't think of it what it was, but it reminded me of an onion, right? And every time you peel one part of the onion, say, okay, I got it. You peel back, there's another part of the onion, right? But there's a word he used, and I would like to use back in, but it's pretty much saying you have an onion, right? And the first part of the onion you're here, and you peel back that part of the onion, and you peel back that part of the onion, and there's another layer underneath it, right? And they were speaking on that's how they wrote the Bible. They use math and gematria and all the forms and stuff, right? To write it so that they could hide God. So it's been set up so in a way that if we are able to actually find out what this thing means, and you got it, there's another layer. You got to put back that layer back and find out what that layer means. Um, so you see gematria in different forms and stuff. You see it in binary. You see it in platonic solids. Um, and you see it in the flower of life, right? All of these things are showing up in the Bible, right? Um, well, let me backtrack on the platonic solid thing, but the flower of life, it's there. You can see that. And some people equate that to be the neutron, electrons, and protons, which give us the 666 of man. You see the cycle of the universe coded into Jesus. For instance, it says that his last recorded age in the Bible is 30. He was 12 when he was with his father and his parents were looking for him. He was 12 there. There are 24 elders, right? Uh, all of these are the cycle related to the number 360, right? Um, they're related to this number, right? And the more we are able to understand what this means, right? He had 12 apostles, that number 12, right? Um, he was 12 years old, right? All of that is related to the relationship with the moon and the sun. It's not just the sun. And I realized that I thought it was talking about the moon, but the number 30 is a lunar mark. It's a lunar calendar, right? Because there's 30 days in a month, right? And that 30 days that are in a month happen within 12 months. Okay. And the 24 is there are 24 hours in a day, right? But that 24 hours that in a day, right, happen, and you have to understand the 60 cycle, 60 minutes, because 144, no, 1,440 is a time. That's many hours, many minutes are in a day, right? But though that 1,440 break down into 60 seconds. So you see that what they're talking about there is not really an actual physical person, but they're actually talking about the they're actually talking about the lunar and the yearly calendar, right? And I think many of us don't quite understand that the knowledge in which they created the system that we live under today, right? And how they determined it was created and kept in secret so that that information wasn't available to the commoners or common people. Um, and one of the ways what they did is they used math to hide it and keep it a secret. So, and today I'm just talking about a while since I actually just talked to you guys. You can kind of like research and see if I'm wrong, and we can definitely have the discussion. But what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing here, um, with information I just displayed, is very clear to me. Um, so I think that when we really search the history of where they got it from, right? They used a lot of our systems to develop it. So, because the reason why I say that is because how did they develop the system to keep time, right? Or to keep the calendar, change the calendars? Because we didn't always live underneath this Gregorian calendar, right? We got here because Cleopatra of Egypt, right, gave this system to Julius Caesar. That's how we got to this system, right? And you really look at much of the information that some people call it agnostic, and that could be correct. But if you look at the information in it, you will see that the sorry, I had to get something to drink. But you will see that the people who would have had the knowledge and the understanding, right, of the system and how to write this out, could only have been a few people to do this. This wasn't that Bible could not have been written by um, people who were just speaking on the fact that Eve talked to a snake. We couldn't have someone, you know, with that kind of understanding, right? Couldn't have wrote it. Someone with a deeper understanding, with a deeper message, were hiding and coding messages within it and keeping it the very secret of how they were setting it up. And the people I believe to have been doing that during that time were Pythagoras and the Pythagoreans. And all those like Plato, Aristotle, um, had that secret and hid that secret from the world. But I believe um, that, and I'm almost sure of this, that the ancient, that the information which they had, they received it from two places that it could have gotten it from. That was either ancient Sumer or ancient Kemet. Those two are the only people they could have gotten it from. And even the ancient Kemet would have gotten it from the Ifa Yoruba people. They would have gotten it from there. Um, and their traditions of spiritualism. Because you see signs of that there. You see signs of the calendars that are dated, tracking them in the, and I always mess up when I say this word, La Baboon Bone. You see it there. Um, you see very interesting stuff within the game that they play. And this game is also found within the pyramids. And I would like anybody who can correct me on this game, because I can't quite think of the name of it as of now. But I would say that this game is a very common game that played in Africa. There's a bunch of holes all throughout the game. I think between 6 or 8, maybe more or less. And they have rocks or stones. And the job is to try to collect as many stones into the rock. I'm not sure of it. But that same game which I'm describing is also found on the pyramids, right? This was very mathematical in what they were doing, right? And the reason why I keep trying to push the issue of math in the Bible or understanding the math part of the Bible is because I believe that's something there that we could actually use to empower and to uplift and to benefit our people. I think the discussion that we are having over moral issues, right, are good for those who are immoral, right? They're good for those who are immoral, right? Who needs a book to tell them whether it's okay or not okay to grape, excuse me, it's not okay to grape. You should know that that is wrong. Who needs a book to look at people by their race and culture and not by their character, right? Who don't respect culture, help people. See, I'm a type of person that have many different friends, right? And I want my white friends to be white, right? To observe them in their culture, right? And try to find the best out of it that I can in their culture. And then, and so forth, right? I want to see them as they are. I don't want my culturally white friends pretending to be black, right? I don't want my culturally black friends pretending to be white. I can respect the redneck who wears the Confederate flag in pride, right? And I'm not saying what he did, what that flag represents to me, right? And the hurt and pain that it caused my people. I'm not discounting that, right? I'm simply stating that the person who is a sense of pride of their culture, but is willing to say, hey, you know what, we've made some mistakes. We've done some wrong things, but this is where we came from, right? And that's one of the things that we had to learn to do as African Black Americans, at the African diaspora abroad, the foreign African, right? We had to come to the fact that many of us, right, may not be Native American or may have limited blood as Native American. But we also have to understand that the lens that we're looking through the whole Native American issue, we're looking at that lens from a European perspective, through a blood lineage perspective, right? And I don't think that that narrative fits us as Africans, right? Because Africans often, well, let me not get on that topic, but let me just say this here. Let me just say this here that we didn't have a history of, let me say this here, and I think I might have, now, I'm not going to speak on Africans, but I will say this for the Native Americans, okay? Some of a family is historically Native American, right? Um, or Indian, right? Um, I think that many of us, right, we try to preserve as much. of our family's legacy, as much of my family's culture and tradition as we could. And you see it all throughout, right? You see it in South Carolina, the Gullah Geechee. You see it in even the dismal swamps areas, and you see with the Native Americans, right? Or those who claim that, right? They were trying to preserve as much of their culture as they could. And I also would like to say that I believe that many of our ancestors, right, have been giving a misrepresented and very false interpretation of what they were intending to do. So this is what I'm going to say here on this, right? The families in America of Native American and African diaspora culture who were holding on to it, right? It was more of a tribal acceptance than it was of a bloodline. I want to say this again. I want you to hear what I'm saying. It was more of a tribal acceptance than it was of a bloodline. So I'll say this. If your mother or your father, let's say your mother, right, was native of a native tribe, right? And your father was white, or of a non-Urine tribe, right? And that was the situation, right? Now, I'm not talking whether they were full-blooded members of the tribe or partial members of the tribe. What's important here, right, is that your mother and father, when they became married, were both accepted into the tribe. That made them members. Your father may not have been a pure Native American, right? Your mother may have been a part of the tribe, but not necessarily a full Native American member. However, the children that they had are accepted into the tribe. They are a part of the tribe, right? It's like a lion accepting a kitten into the tribe. Now, we can say that just because, as Malcolm said, just because you put a kitten in the oven doesn't make it biscuits. And I would agree. However, when it came to them, that kitten was accepted into the tribe of alliance. Into the tribe, right? So that is the very important thing that we keep missing, right? Is that we keep looking at it through a bloodline lineage, which is a European eye. And I think that's where we're making the mistake. We keep looking at African culture and European culture, and we're confusing the two. You could have been African and accepted into and you could have been European and accepted into an African culture. Your children are considered a part of that African culture. So that is the blurred line I think that we keep missing, that we keep making, right? We keep making the mistake of accepting the acceptance with bloodline, with acceptance with bloodline. So I just want to briefly just touch on those things and speak on to you about that. And I hope that you enjoyed this little chat we've had. I'll be touching on many other topics as I continue. Please like, share, subscribe to the video. Thank you for your comments. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Please help me to better improve this platform and what I can do. Peace, love, and you guys have a great day.